All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a game between Focus versus Hawk. Gonna go ahead and swap the colors on me just in case Focus does decide to go for that Blade Master. It is literally impossible to spot him on the minimap. I did have a number of other replays that I could have tried, but then again, I would have to start trying to download all of these additional tools to be able to watch older replays. There was a patch that was released and that has changed things up. All right, let's go ahead and break things down in this 1v1 matchup. Don't you want to start designing your sign? Go. Go.
I just need to do the app sketch, and I did that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm done.
Oh, okay. And then do your breakfast. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down here. We are looking at Hawk spawning as the red human player over here on the bottom right-hand side of the map. Barracks, there is that Ultra of Kings, and we're wondering what the heroes are going to be. On the opposite side of the map, Ultra of Storms actually showing a Farseer instead of a Blade Master. So Farseer with a single barracks, no Voodoo Lounge as of yet, and that should mean for a decent speed tech to tier 2. Good morning, good to have you back. Good to be back. Unfortunately, I only have 2 games to cast today because, well, Blizzard's patch, as you guys may or may not know, often breaks things or changes things up. And interesting, Focus actually going for the second Orc Burrow before teching the tier 2. Now, with this shows me that he's most likely going to be following this up with a War Mill and then trying to go into perhaps mass headhunters, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you're fighting against a human player. Meanwhile, down here, one peon has run all the way trying to put some pressure onto this Voodoo Lounge here as well, and there is a lot of lumber being used. Eagle-eyed viewers will also notice that the overhead interface, the heads-up display, is not updated yet. I have not been able to, well, upgrade that as of yet, as we're taking a look at Forest Troll Shadow Priest now being picked up here. Are we going to see some Abolish Magic? There's a Lightning Shield, and are we going to see some Abolish Magic 1, Abolish Magic 2 perhaps, as the units are going to try and head back? Farseer with that Lightning Shield, however, dealing a large amount of damage to all of these rogues here. And we may see a fast tech to tier 2. What is Focus really trying to do, as another round of Spirit Wolves now being summoned? And this is not looking good at all. Wait, look at this. Farseer down to 37 hit points, down to 16, down to 9. One more shot could do it. And wow, the natural running away from that Farseer gave him enough regeneration. As we take a look at, well, the Farseer purposely attacked a building in order... Oh, gosh. Down to 6 hit points and ends up staying alive. Definitely not fast tech to Tauren. You saw the double Orc Burrow and this Voodoo Lounge before that tech to tier 2 even began. Meanwhile, down across over here, Hawk sitting on a Town Hall still should have a good amount of lumber. Meanwhile, it is going to be a Mountain King coming in from Hawk. Some early aggression by Hawk, so close that Farseer was playing on a razor's edge, down to sub 5 hit points multiple times. Random number generation just not working out it for Hawk to try and ensure that early Farseer kill. Yes, Arya. Yes, Arya.
Can I use the white from yesterday?
Yes, you can. Back across over here, Mountain King going to go ahead and continue to engage. Mountain King picking up double Cloak of Shadows, Pure of Vitality. And there, well, Forest Troll Berserker now picking up a little bit of damage. Mountain King going to go ahead and finish things off here. There goes the Forest Troll Berserker getting up to level 3. What are the abilities? I don't know because, well, in balancing that Crypt Lord, well, my heads-up display is not working, so I don't know if it was Mountain King going for double Stormbolt, or 2 points in Stormbolt, or Stormbolt and Bash, or Thunderclap. Very sad about the replays, man, but nothing we can do. Blizzard is not being disrespectful. You know what? There is always going to be something to complain about, and frankly, we live in a complaining culture. We do. We like, as much as accurate and as right as it may be for us to be upset and sad that that the replays from recent tournaments are no longer going to work. The truth of the matter is, if Blizzard didn't make the changes to the Crypt Lord, it would have been much more of an overall negative effect. So, yes, would you rather have the Crypt Lord with those carry-on beetles at level 2 and level 3 having as many hit points as they do, and costing the same amount of mana, or would you rather have access to a couple of replays for at least for a little bit of time? I guess that is the question. All right, that's gonna go ahead and continue to continue to battle it up here, as the Spirit Wolves trying to make their way across. Arcane Tower is already up. Town Hall looks like it will be completed, as that fortified armor will greatly change how much damage that building is taking. Well, now having 5 armor there. Blizzard, good day, everyone. Sorry, may I ask what happened with replay guidelines? Well, the way the replays work in WarCraft 3, every time you change the base code, you end up... Well, let's go ahead and focus down on this Grunt here. Grunt, is it going to be able to slip away? Down to 93, 33 hit points. There it goes. It gets taken down. Forest Troll Berserker and Forest Troll Shadow Priest actually doing a large amount of damage there with that range bit. Meanwhile, the Forest Troll Berserkers are staying put as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest trying to stay alive. Are we going to see the Arcane Tower? Yes, Arcane Tower finishes off that unit there, as the lower hit point Forest Troll Shadow Priest are doing a bit of healing. Even Neo said it was a disrespectful patch. And this is my comment on that. Well, let's go ahead and battle it up here. And battling up, there goes a Stormbolt. And once more, Forest Troll Berserker trying to slip back again, as the Forest Troll Shadow Priests are taking a large amount of damage. Forest Troll Berserker being forced to retreat all the way back, as the Dio Spirit Wolves do deal large amounts of damage. Stormbolt onto the Farseer. Farseer now attempting to head back home. The remaining Grunts will teleport back. Forest Troll Berserker, well, down to 26 hit points, getting caught up on a sheep and gets taken down. Lin almost took a definite win because he couldn't upgrade the game on his PC. All right, that is a bit of an issue. Having it happen in the middle of a tournament or right before a tournament, I gotta say, Blizzard, if you guys don't know, Blizzard used to have a very, very large PR team. I actually had a number of people, a lot of my contacts at Blizzard were in PR. They had a press team. I was invited to Blizzard, talk to them, get a lot of information, and you know, a lot of share and a lot of community feedback. That used to be at the heart of what Blizzard was. But penny counters, people trying to keep track of what's going on with the stock price. Well, I believe those teams were actually cut. Stomp coming in from the Tauren Chieftain. Chain Lightning trying to finish off another Forest Troll Shadow Priest, and does get it off. And with that said, what does that really mean? It means that Blizzard isn't aware of what's going on in the community nearly as much. They don't know about tournaments, some of the other tournaments that are happening all throughout the world, nor... they don't know about all of the tournaments that are happening in the world. I remember back in the day with StarCraft 2, originally, you had to reach out to Blizzard and tell them, hey, I'm planning on running a tournament. Is that okay? It's going to be sponsored. It's going to be this and this and this. All of these things, they had to be pre-informed, and then tournaments just turn into an admin logistical nightmare. That ended up being what happened with me and my StarCraft 2 tournaments, where they just turned into this giant logistical nightmare, trying to line up everything, trying to get everything all signed off. And I don't know if that is still the case. I haven't tried to run a tournament with sponsors lately, but if... Well, Thunderclap now coming in. Maybe Blizzard doesn't know what's going on, and that could very much be the case. Hawk now setting up another barracks here, and Hawk is in definite trouble. He does need to get some riflemen. He does have the Mountain King with Thunderclap, but he doesn't have the Blood Mage yet to act as that mana battery. Militia now coming in from the far side here. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 2. Farseer getting closer to level 4 with level 2 Chain Lightning perhaps underway. Yeah, I think in StarCraft 2 you may... they would kick... It's Blizzard-sponsored tournament, ESL Pro Tour. Well... they may have known about it, but they didn't really know about it. That's the problem. The development with separation of the development team and of the disbandment of the PR team, the public relations team that would actually keep track of all of those tournaments. I think they flat out didn't know that, hey, by releasing a tournament right now, 2-3 hours before another tournament, that players wouldn't be able to play and qualification matches wouldn't be able to happen. I think that was the problem there. The question would have been, would it be better to leave the Crypt Lord as it was, or do we just bite the bullet? And someone made a decision. No one would have been happy. The decision may have been the wrong one, but someone did make a decision. Mountain King now coming back across here. Thunderclap coming in, slowing down many of those units. Riflemen shooting everything in the back. Mountain King now sitting at level 5. This is a solo Mountain King, so I forgot about the bonus experience that comes across there. There is another bit of mana coming in. Are we going to see a Stormbolt go down onto that Tauren Chieftain? Tauren Chieftain could actually get a Stormbolt right there, and there's a Chain Lightning, a Potion of Healing trying to break free as the Mountain King unable to do very much anymore. All right, very low hit point Forest Troll Berserker in the back there. Mountain King is going to be able to finish anything off. Blood Mage now out onto the field, and the Blood Mage, Mountain King, is going to get a Stormbolt off onto the Tauren Chieftain. Yes, he will, and this could be enough to finish things off, and it looks like, wow, the Scroll of Town Portal slipped away at 6 seconds. I don't know, for somehow, some way, this game has had more 6 hit point heroes or less escape certain death. It is frustrating, I will admit to that. It is absolutely frustrating to see Blizzard's involvement dwindle and fall to where it currently is. Very, very, very sad indeed. Meanwhile, Blood Mage will be getting up to level 2, perhaps following up with Banish to slow things down, or perhaps take additional damage from that Stormbolt will be possible. All right, coming back through Forest Troll. Shadow Priest still low on hit points. We are looking at a dual rack strategy, and this is a dual rack strategy with a single Arcane Sanctum. A little bit interesting to say the least. Forest Troll Shadow Priest gets taken down there. Mountain King perhaps going to try and give some additional items. Mounting a Blood Mage does have a max, or I would have thought the Blood Mage would have siphoned more mana away from those other units, as this Rifleman is just, well, causing more problem and needs to back away once more. All right, there is that Scroll of Regeneration. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain is at 3, Farseer is at 4. The disconnect between Blizzard and its community is a rather large one. That is my takeaway as someone who's been invited to Blizzard, seeing all of the previous interaction with press, like having press invites, have community fan sites being able to take part and join in. Community fan sites are no longer nearly as important in this modern day. Before, the big names like WC Replays, Warcraft 3 info wasn't around yet. WC Replays, StarCraft Legacy, a lot of those Blizzard fan sites were constantly invited to Blizzard. I don't think anyone goes to those particular sites, or well, maybe not nearly as many people go to those particular sites to get their information. Who really goes? We really actually reach out to people on Twitter, the names that you recognize, right? The Back to WarCraft guys, Nemo, Remo, Twitch, things of that nature. And Blizzard has developed relationships and communications with them, but there isn't still that same level of relationship that Blizzard was involved in, I would say, 8 years ago. If he said he was about to show everyone how to play versus Crypt Lord as Orc, I guess he was a day too late. Yeah, and well, who knows? Claws of Attack +6 being left behind. Farseer doesn't even pick up that item. No item slots there, and this is part of the issue when you are playing a game and a real-time strategy game. Or any type of strategy game where balance is of question. Oftentimes you will end up seeing, you will end up, well, how do I say that? I'm saying that the players find the correct balance in terms of everything, as opposed to having the balance needing to coming from the actual designers of the game. Mountain King perhaps is invisible. There's a Stormbolt straight up siphon mana. No stomp. There's a follow-up Thunderclap. Major damage. Massive stomp coming back across all of those riflemen there. Riflemen all just currently stunned. Mountain King could have a lot of problems here. Does have a potion of lesser invulnerability. There's another stomp in the back line there as Raiders are going to get taken down. Mountain King using that potion of lesser invulnerability now. Does have a scroll of healing to try and counteract all that there as the priests need to get in some major healing onto that Mountain King. Meanwhile, Blood Mage constantly getting stunned here. That is not going to be a good spot. There goes Siphon mana away from that Farseer. Now that the Tauren Chieftain is out of mana, using a Wand of Mana Stealing and perhaps a Potion of Mana to try and get in one more stomp. There is that Mountain King. There is another stomp again, and Hawk is just in trouble. Ensnare onto the Blood Mage. Blood Mage had a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Chain Lightning following back around. Scroll of Healing perhaps still on cooldown as the units are trying to all retreat back, and there goes another final priest and a dollar shout. To quote a certain Crota, Blood Mage is doing a lot of work right there, but the Blood Mage was also, suffering a lot of stunning damage. The Tauren Chieftain does have an Ankh of Reincarnation, so focusing it down is not going to be nearly that helpful. The Tauren Chieftain with Stomp constantly stopping the channel ability of that Blood Mage is a major setback, especially with the Tauren Chieftain being able to stomp and following up with the Raiders in snares. All right. Yeah, perhaps Infi would have been able to make a large amount of, make a dollar by showing and practicing and showing how to play against that Crypt Lord. I will say this, though. If the professional scene, I'm going to say if FIFA decided to change the rules of soccer or football, I'm sorry, for all of my non-American viewers, if FIFA decided to try and change the rules of football, like 2 hours before a match without heads up, yeah, that would actually be considered fairly not honorable and not respectful, as Infi and players out there were practicing and developing specific strategies before the game, right? So if that is going to be the case where you know that you are going to be changing the rules of how the game is going to be played and how the game works, a heads up should have been given. PTR was that heads up, but not having a timing on that or a possible release date does perhaps throw a lot of people's training out the window. A lot of undead players perhaps are trying to get really good at using that Crypt Lord, being very effective with that Crypt Lord, the Crypt Lord harass, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 hours before the tournament having it not, be a very viable strategy. Coming back down across here, Spirit Wolves now making their rounds again. Focus now running up on 3 bases. The main base still has about 4 or 3.5 minutes of mining left. Rifleman currently sitting on 2-0 upgrades. Rifle caster, a very long and tried strategy. Priest are there, and now adding in some mortar teams as well to add in a bit more damage. We can see that there are Shadow Wolves right here. No easy way to gain sight of all of those units. Tauren Chieftain is going to try and go down for a stomp and stuns basically the entire human army, and that's only the level 4 stomp right there. Tauren Chieftain puts his foot down again and stomps on a bunch of units once more. Thunderclap is dealing damage, but the amount of damage being prevented by Stomp, by stunning all of those units, is absolutely monumental. All right, Tauren Chieftain could actually get taken down, but no, Hawk throws in the GG before that. Level 2 Stomp absolutely crushing those riflemen there. So yeah, let's take a little time. Blizzard, we can all say that Blizzard has had a change in direction and a change in focus, focusing a lot more on I guess what I'll say the broader community as opposed to more of its die-hard fans. As much as has been said about Blizzard, Blizzard had a very loyal fan base and a very loud and adamant fan base across its multitude of games, right? That was always the case. That always seemed to be there. With the change, with the loss in PR, it does feel like a very different company. and even though I haven't been back to the offices, from friends who have left the company, to the overall feel, I still have friends, or I still have some people that I on good terms with, that are still there. So I do have hope that Blizzard will find its way again. But at the end of the day, it is about making money, and I don't want to say making money is a bad thing. I mean, if you invest in a company, if you invest your own time, energy, effort, and your money into a company, you expect to either get money out of it, or if you just wanted the product, you would just buy the product. So yeah, let's not get upset at Blizzard for trying to make a dollar. Let's not be upset at Blizzard for trying to keep all of the people it has employed, um, you know, making decisions to protect those people as well. It's a very big world out there. There's a lot of decisions to be made, and I know the culture right now seems to be blame CEOs who make so much money. I don't know if I don't know how much money to offset the amount of stress that I would experience if I knew that my decisions affected whether or not 7,500, 10,000 people have jobs in a year. I don't know. I really don't. So, yeah, those are my thoughts there. Anyways, well, that was a little bit longer of a discussion at the end of this particular video than I would like. Please stay tuned for another game.